Welcome to A Splice of Life Science Marketing. I'm Jasmine Gruya-Gray, and today Matt Wilkinson and I have the great pleasure of chatting with our friend Valentina Escobar-Gonzalez. Welcome, Valentina.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to join you guys today.
Just a little bit of an intro for Valentina. She's a seasoned marketer, social media strategist, serial learner, speaker, and marketing educator. She specializes in helping individuals and their businesses build authentic connections through their social media channels to boost customer relations and create a strong, purposeful community online. She also deeply understands digital content, social media platforms, social listening practices, and digital marketing strategies with over 10 years of experience in the world of social media. She is a co-author of this fabulous book with a fabulous title, The Most Amazing Marketing Book Ever. And she collaborated with over 35 fellow marketers to share their combined top strategies. It is a must read, and I encourage our audience to get that book. She's been featured in multiple podcasts, which are available on her website, and has won several prestigious awards throughout her marketing career. Wow, amazing, amazing background. We're so glad to be able to host you, Valentina. Welcome again.
Thank you. And I might add that if you prefer the Audible version, you have the different countries represented, so you hear 10 different accents. So it's good. It's going to be so much fun if you do listen to the book through Audible.
Wow, that's a great tip. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, so let's kick it off today with what are the 3 LinkedIn myths you wish people would stop repeating, and what actually matters in the first hour after posting?
Well, thank you for asking that question. I love the stuff that we're going to be talking today. It's going to be a very spicy discussion on LinkedIn for everyone that second guesses themselves and says, what am I doing wrong? I'm glad you asked that question. So one thing that I think a lot of people do that is probably wrong is reposting. I don't know if you know this, Matt and Jasmine, but for every time you repost someone else's post, it only reaches 1% of your audience. And if you add your blurb or a caption above the repost, it only gets 0.5% reach. So here, everyone's like, let me just repost someone else's stuff, or let me repost something from the organization or association that I'm with. And that is a problem. No one's going to be seeing that. So that's one thing. The second thing is adding links. When you add a link, it reduces reach by 50%. So if you're trying to tell people, hey, go to this link and I'm going to direct you to outside of LinkedIn, that is going to reduce the reach. And finally, over posting. Some of us might be a little bit guilty about reposting. We think that we have to post every day to be relevant. So those are the 3 things that I believe that might be hindering you with your LinkedIn strategy.
Wow, I had no idea that reposting reduces your reach that significantly.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that and I only do that if I'm trying to be nice to someone or try to get brownie points. So if I repost your post, you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, Valentina reposted my thing. That's so sweet of her. When I actually know that only 1% of my audience is gonna see that post. You might not know that, Jasmine, but you're like, oh, she's so sweet to repost my
Yeah.
post for the day.
So just as a follow-up, how do saves or comments or likes or dwell time play from what you've seen?
So I want to focus on dwell time. So when you post something on LinkedIn, I try to put the juicy or the hook, something that's going to be the one-liner at the very beginning of the post, so that it compels people to click on that button that says "See more." So this is something that I've heard Richard Bliss discuss, and he's the expert. He knows all the stuff about LinkedIn. But he talks something about broetry. So when you write something, you're putting something, and it's one line. It's a hook, a good line, and then you put a space, and then you put another line, and then you do another space and another line. It kind of looks like a haiku. So you just go space, line, space, and discuss something in detail. So that's why I think dwell time is something that really you should think about, putting something very good at the very beginning of the post, so then people are compelled to press see more. And then you get certain points based on the algorithm based on that.
If LinkedIn hid likes for a month and reposts, what would you post? And how would you gauge
So
success?
I'm not a good writer. I've always admitted that writing comes it's hard for me to put my words into like just putting it like they're in a sentence or in a paragraph. To me, if I could just cheat my way through LinkedIn, I would do video. Video to me is so much more easier. I can just hop on something and just say what I need to say and I'm done for the day. That's what I would do if I could, but I know video has gotten a lot of reduction in reach lately. And I think another thing that people do is they post. Someone was telling me yesterday, oh, I'm going to batch all these videos out. I'm going to have video, video, video. And I didn't tell her. I didn't want to, seem too opinionated, but I didn't want to tell her. But if you do the same type of content all the time, so let's say you do picture, 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 or link, 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 or video, 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 it reduces reach by 30%. So you're trying to switch up your strategy. So don't just always do videos. Switch it up and do a link or a post or a picture or just text only. Text only gets a lot of reach on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. What two metrics would you really be watching on LinkedIn?
The big thing for me is the comments. If I can drive the comments, that would be ideal. I love to see what people are saying. When you post something on LinkedIn, it gets 1/10 the reach. Wow. If you comment, it gets 1/3 the reach. So this is super important. So I'm always seeing if people are leaving me comments and then replying back to their comments. In that first hour, when you post something on LinkedIn, it gets 10% reach. So it's pushing it out there. So you don't want to post and ghost. You don't want to be like, okay, I'm going to post, I'm going to get up, I'm done for the day. You want to be close to your phone or your computer and monitor the comments. That's so important. So just to keep that post up and relevant.
I love that no posting and going. I think that also speaks to the engagement that LinkedIn is focused on.
Yeah, yeah.
So you just joined a 10-person life science tools startup company. You have
Okay.
90 days to create a pipeline from LinkedIn. What does that look like? What's your weekly plan across different personal profiles and the company page?
So I want to go back and ask you more details about the audience. I want to understand what makes them tick. What are they looking into? What is a typical day in their life to understand what type of post or strategy I can offer them? So give me a little bit more substance about the audience.
So the audience is typically scientists. They may post once a week, maybe even less frequently. The types of posts they may do is on their research itself.
Mhm.
It could be a sharing of a recent publication, for example.
Okay. Yeah, most of the scientists that I know, they're always behind the scenes. They don't post. If they do post, they post maybe once a year because they were forced to do it. So that's I always like to get that perspective. But so when you're thinking about that, the strategy I would say, just to make it simple and concise here, is maybe have the company page post the publication and they share it, because the thing is these folks are so busy, they just need the quick fix. They just need to share something very quickly from the company page so it looks it's official. I know from fact that the people that I know that are scientists don't like to toot their horn. So I don't know if that makes sense across the pond, but they don't like to talk about the amazing stuff that they're doing. So we need to be realistic. They are going to struggle posting about their publication, right? Is that right, Jasmine and Matt? What do you think?
I think you're right. I think there's also the concern that, if I say something that's just a little bit off or a little bit off company line, I might get embroiled in something. We know how toxic social media can get these days.
Yes.
So I think there's often a little bit of reluctance to, yeah, to promote themselves too much because, honestly, they don't want or need the kickback.
Yeah. And Jasmine, what do you think?
So I agree. I think that there's also another segment of the audience that may be earlier on in their career. They may be a technician type, or they may be in the process of getting a degree, and they're much more comfortable with social media. and they look for social media, look to social media to stay on top of what companies are doing, new launches and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I want to pause and acknowledge those people that are doing that. That's great. But what about the Gen Xers? What about the elder millennials? I have a feeling that they need the nudge. And I think this would be a good time to pause and make maybe Matt, maybe Jasmine, you can say, you need to do this. You need to do this for your career to be relevant in this age of AI. If you're not putting yourself out there, who will?
Couldn't agree with you more. Personal branding doesn't have an age limit, doesn't have a career limit. I actually recently wrote a blog about personal branding and how it changes over the course of your career and who you are and what you represent and what your values and ideals are can change throughout the course of the year. And I think LinkedIn is a really strong professional social media platform to engage with.
So that I think that there's that there are other social media networks like, there's a lot of scientists that go on X or Blue Sky, but also
Mhm.
places like ResearchGate. So there are these other platforms where scientific discourse happens. But I think HR, when you're going for that next role, they so often want to actually get to know who you are and what you're doing professionally via LinkedIn, rather than necessarily thinking about looking at ResearchGate or those other social media networks. So I think it really is important to have that presence there, on LinkedIn, because it is, it's more than just a glorified CV, but it becomes incredibly important for your personal brand.
Yeah, and I wanted to highlight something that I was looking to a couple of your past episodes. I think it was like the first episode where you both quoted Steve Jobs and understanding the customer firsthand. I don't know how these individuals that maybe follow this podcast, how committed they are to selling themselves in the sales side of things if they're working one-on-one with the customers. I just wanted to highlight that it's so important when you're posting, thinking about that end user, thinking about your customers. And that quote, do you remember what it was, Matt? The one from Steve Jobs about getting to know your customer really closely?
Oh yeah, that's a good test. I think actually, no, I can't remember it.
But it's something about really understanding your customer. What about you, Jasmine? Do you remember it off the tip of your tongue?
Apparently the tip of my tongue is a little tongue-tied. I don't remember it either.
If you were banned from posting on social media for 90 days, how would you still grow and book meetings if you could only comment on other people's posts?
I kind of alluded to that earlier in our discussion. It's all about the comments. It's all about the comments. One of the things that Richard Bliss promotes is if you comment 3 times a day on 3 different people's posts for 3 to 5 days, it's going to increase your reach, your profile view. So people are going to be looking at your profile by 300 to 500% increase. So let me repeat that again because I'm from Miami and I talk fast. So you're gonna you're gonna post, or you're gonna comment on people's posts 3 times a day for, so 3 times a day, 3 different times each time. So breakfast, you go on you have your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, and you're gonna look at LinkedIn. Then at lunchtime, you're gonna do this again. And then when you're doing your Netflix and chilling, you're gonna do this again. So you do this 3 times a day for 3 different people for 5 days, and that's going to increase your profile views from 300 to 500%. And when we're thinking about comments, we're not going to be like, let's say you were at that event that you went to last week, the both of you. I'm not going to just be like, oh, that's so great that you were in the DC area. And you saw what I left in the comment. I am so happy that you were at this event. I actually attended that event 2 times in Boston when I was in college, and I got so much out of that event, and I only had access to the trade show ticket. So I like the people that are eavesdropping, that comment's showing up on their feed. They're going to be like, oh, that's so interesting that Valentina went to that prestigious event when she was in college and she went to Boston. So there's so much substance behind that comment. You're not going to just say, hey, that was great that you went to that event. You're going to put some meaning. If someone's celebrating a work anniversary, you're going to be like, I'm so happy that you celebrated that work anniversary. Based on the fact that we both were part of the marketing committee, I can see that you bring a lot of value to this organization. So people that are looking at that comment on their news feed that might not be connected to me, that shows up on their feed. They're like, oh, that's so interesting that Valentina was in that committee with that person.
So sharing a point of view, I think is
Mhm.
what you're trying to say, to add value in that comment.
Yeah, because the comment might show up in a network outside of yours. So people are like, how does she know that person? So if you put that context, that is going to provide some input for that audience. It's probably eavesdropping into the conversation by looking at the comments. They have some substance behind that relationship that that person has with you.
Makes sense. So can you break down your highest performing post and what part of that post was the true driver? Earlier you spoke about the hook and sort of the formatting of the post. Yeah, so if you can sort of give us an insight into when Valentina is putting a post together.
Okay, so I love this because you both have been with me to the Mark Schaefer's Uprising event, and I've gone to several of the uprisings. So this is one of the examples, my favorite example. I posted a recap of the uprising, and I put a carousel. So this is when you do a visual, you upload it as a PDF, and people are swiping through it. So for the visual people like myself, I put images of each of the speakers and a takeaway, one line takeaway. So I'm taking a selfie at the barbecue place. I'm taking a selfie, right before they're about to speak, or when I'm crashing their breakfast, because that's what I do. I take advantage and I just sit with someone at breakfast. So I take a selfie with them, and then I put a one liner saying what I learned from that person. So that was the most viral post I've done. I put a blurb talking about what the uprising is, and then each visual, like I said, was a selfie with that person and what I learned from that person. So the secret was, we had just attended Richard Bliss's presentation on LinkedIn, and we learned that if you tag someone, if that person does not respond, you get penalized if they don't respond quickly. So what I did is I tagged a couple of people, not everyone, and then I secretly messaged them on LinkedIn saying, hey, I just tagged you in a post. Can you please like and comment? So I went so, and I specifically was trying to be mindful of the fact, when is the best time to get the good comments? Not the sissy ones saying, hey, that's great that I saw you. When do people have the time to give me a good, juicy comment? On the weekends, when they're cycling, right before they go cycling, right, Matt? On Saturday mornings, when do they have more time to give me a really thoughtful comment? So that's what I did. I specifically posted that post on the weekend when someone can have more time to give me a good substantial comment. And that thing, I don't have the numbers with me, but that was the most biggest engagement, biggest viral post. And it was fun because people typically see the boring conference pictures, but this time it was selfies with me and then the one-liners that I learned from them.
How
Great.
soon do people have to comment before you get dinged?
So that's the thing. You have that 1 hour that
Mhm.
that post is getting 10% of that reach in your audience. So that's super important to make sure that if you are going to post, you notify the people that are in the picture ahead of time. Hey, I posted something about you. So I was messaging several people that were in the picture saying, I just tagged you in a post. Please check it out.
Conferences are content gold, as you've just mentioned. How would you turn a sales and marketing team present at the conference into 30 days of posts without sounding too salesy?
Okay, I love this question. And I got these questions and I was marinating on this question and I was thinking about you, Matt. Let's take a couple of steps back. So when you post on LinkedIn, if you post every day, let's say you post multiple times in a day. So you post one time, let's say at 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's say you post again at 11. You went to one session, then you went to another one. You found it very insightful. Every time you post, so you post in the morning and you post maybe in the lunchtime, it hides subsequent posts by 99%. So let
Wow.
me repeat that. Remember, I'm from Miami and I talk fast and loud. So let me repeat it for the people in the back that didn't hear this. Let me repeat this. When you post on LinkedIn, if you post more than several times in a day, it hides subsequent posts by 99%. So when I'm posting on LinkedIn, I don't post every day. I post maybe once or twice a week. I'm not like you both, that you both are exceptional writers. I have that one post and I let it stay there. I let it marinate. I let it cook in there a little longer. I try not to post too often because I want that post that I did 2 days ago to get more traction. before I decide to post again 2 days later. So when it comes to the salesy and marketing thing, we have to go back to the psychology. The people that we're talking to today that are listening to this podcast don't toot their horn as much. So you have to get past that imposter syndrome that you have to promote this event that you just attended and milk this conference. You have to take advantage of this conference and really amplify it. Once you get past that, let's talk the strategy. So we're going to share the fact that we're at this event where you take the picture with that awkward sign that says 2025 whatever conference. You take that, I've arrived. Then you're going to attend a couple of events. I think that you shouldn't post every time you attend a session. I think people will appreciate what I do, which is the recap. You just post that one thing per day. You show off the multiple speakers. People love that. Again, a lot of people are visual learners. So they're swiping and seeing who you saw, what you learned. 30 days of content. That's 30 posts from you, Matt. I don't know if I want to, I love you and everything. You're amazing. I love the accent and everything. You're such a sweetheart. I love your dog in the background, but I don't know if I want to see 30 days worth of content. What about you, Jasmine? What do you think? Am I getting too spicy here?
No, I think it's your opinion. Go for it. I think also people want the quick salient fact, and then they've moved on, right?
Yeah.
To a degree, we all have a little bit of ADHD. So
Mhm.
give me everything all in one go or in two goes, and then move on.
Yeah.
What else have you got to say?
Exactly. What about you, Matt? I feel like I put you on the spot.
It's all right. I'm here to be taking punches at. No, I'm just joking. I think one of the things that I've been, I've definitely seen that posting too frequently that actually harms you. One of the other things that I've seen is that a number of posts seem to keep reappearing maybe 2 weeks later.
Yes.
14-day kind of flip
Mhm.
back. So it's almost like you don't want to post on the same day. So you don't want to post necessarily every Thursday,
Mhm.
which is when I post my blogs and put out a LinkedIn newsletter, because actually almost posting that on the same day every week, every 2 weeks, one of those is going to get hidden.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that because beginning of the summer this year, they changed the algorithm. So you're seeing things from 2 weeks ago. It's so irritating because you every time I post, at least like I said, I don't post as often. It's like I put that baby out there. I put so much of effort and emotion and so much into that one post, and then I know you're not going to see it for 2 weeks. The only thing that gets a lot of traction immediately are the birthdays and the anniversaries. Those things do get posted as soon as that happens. So be mindful of that. But yeah, it's going to take 2 weeks for that post to show up, and it's so irritating to me because I'm like, I put so much work into those posts.
Yeah, it's crazy the way that's happening, and I find it so confusing as well now, because I look at somebody's post that turns up 2 weeks later, and I look at that's a great post. Oh, I've already liked
Yeah,
and
this is something for the salespeople because I feel like I do marketing. I happen to do marketing, but I'm a salesperson at heart. This is something that I read from Forbes a couple of years ago. It basically gave me like a panic attack. It says that 50 to 60% of your business is from current customers, while 5 to 12% are new people. So here we are trying to engage all these new people. I mean, we just need to cultivate our current customers, our current relationships. So what does that mean? You're like, well, okay, that's great, Valentina. So I guess I just need to send, a birthday card or a handwritten card to someone, my current customers. How do you translate that to social media? So what I do is, if a person becomes a customer, how do I not miss anything? I turn on the notifications. So on the person's profile, once you're connected to them, there's a little bell icon. I turn on that bell icon, and that way I get notified immediately if that person. So right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm looking that way, and it's notifying me on my home screen on my phone that so-and-so has posted something on LinkedIn. So I have to, after this call, I'm going to jump in and start engaging with their posts. What does that mean? That means that makes me top of mind. So when they post, I see it, I comment, and they're like, at one point, my customers know this trick already. And they're like, Valentina, why haven't you commented? Because I'm on a podcast or I'm in a meeting with someone else. I can't stop what I'm doing to attend to your post, but they expect it immediately. Like, Valentina, where's your comment?
I love that, and I love that they expect you to comment straight away as well.
I know, it's very intimidating.
There's no days off.
There's never a day off, especially on the weekends when they know I'm going to give them the good comment, not the sissy one. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make sure I tag you on every Saturday morning from
Oh
now
my goodness.
on.
Yeah, before your cycle. Yeah.
But I'll do it. I'll maybe do it on a Sunday when I've got back from a cycle rather than beforehand, because otherwise it's going to be too early for you. I don't
Yeah,
want
and
people to run out and
that's
leave
what
it.
I do. When I publish my LinkedIn newsletters, I try to do it on Sunday because I feel like people are just relaxing. They're having that nice brunch with their family and they're just checking up on their phone. So my favorite day to post is Sundays for that reason.
Great tip.
And any time of day?
So according to Richard, he says Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 to 11 a.m. your local time is probably the best time to post something on LinkedIn. But I feel like when is the best time that people actually have the time to comment? So that I kind of reverse the question back to you and make you think about that as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially when you work across multiple time zones.
Mhm.
You actually
Exactly.
have to, so I tend to try and get the late lunch crew. So people in the, you know, when they're coming back from lunch in the UK, try to hit them then, which then means it should be around coffee break, you know, most coffee break time on the East Coast, but people are maybe getting up on the West Coast. So you're trying to hit a convenient time zone for everybody.
So you can repost your own post for those people like you that have the multiple time zones. So let's say you post, at 8 o'clock your time, and then you cater to the people in the other time zone, 4 hours away or whatever it is. And then you can also repost your post 2 days later to get even more reach. So all you need to do is just press the repost button. And 2 days later, you can get even more reach by doing that because maybe earlier in the week someone was busy. Right now, we're recording this on a week at a long holiday weekend, so I know a lot of people might not see the post.
And you don't get any penalty for reposting your own posts?
Not that I know of.
That's interesting.
And one more thing, reposts don't count against your daily posts. So when you repost something from someone else, it doesn't count as your daily post. Remember, we were talking about the fact that if we post more than several times a day, it hides subsequent posts by 99%. The only thing is repost. You reposting other people's stuff doesn't count towards your daily post.
What a great tip.
Yes.
So as long
Jasmine,
as
I feel like you're writing all these things and like I feel like you want to ask me something, but you're also writing and taking notes here. This is so much fun.
it is tons of fun. I mean, these are huge gold nuggets. So I think what I'm learning from you is although reposting only reaches 1% of your audience, okay, you've reposted once. That's one tranche of the 1%. You can repost another time. That's going to be a totally different tranche of the 1%. Is that fair?
Yeah. Again, I only repost. Let's say someone posts about me. I repost that. Or maybe I might repost your stuff because it's so amazing. But no one knows. You didn't know that until earlier in this conversation that doesn't get so much reach for me. So, but I'm doing it as a kind, again, across the pond. I don't know if you understand when I say brownie points. I'm trying to get in your favoritism here. So, yeah.
Oh, we have brownie points here too. Don't you worry.
Okay, you do? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, for me, it's not so much brownie points as being supportive of my friends and of their business and wanting to show that support more actively on social.
And that might be for the people that are watching this that have the imposter syndrome or maybe don't like to toot their own horn. Maybe they're a little bit more comfortable just sharing other people's posts. That way they're still putting themselves out there.
So as we sort of wind down this amazing discussion, what are the 3 take-homes you'd like to leave our audience with?
Oh, that's a really good question because I feel like we went in so many directions today, right? I feel like we were all over the place today. If anyone was tuning in today, I really hope you had that cup of coffee or tea before jumping in. I think I really want to harp on this. I really want you to put yourself out there. I want you to be intentional about what you're posting. And if you don't like posting, maybe you're going to be more comfortable commenting and you say, okay, I'm going to stop being a lurker. I'm going to stop looking at people's posts and actually take the time to comment because I'd heard about the value of commenting. I think that's the one. Put yourself out there, stop lurking and start commenting.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And if people want to get in touch with you, Valentina, how can they reach you?
The best way to find me is going to my website, beyond-engagement.com. As you can see, I'm glad to talk. I talk a lot. I'm glad to help you and push you. If you need that push, or someone that give you that perspective that no one else can give you. I'm here for you. I'm here for my clients.
Oh my gosh, Valentina, thank you so much for sharing your marketing wisdom, your personal branding wisdom, and certainly the LinkedIn experiences. Most of all, thanks for helping to keep things spicy, as you like to say, and being part of our splice of life science marketing community.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. And again, you guys, whoever is listening to this, I believe in you. I know you're doing great things, and you just need to put yourself out there. You need to stand out and put yourself out there. And even if it's just commenting, you don't have to post, but just commenting and just putting yourself out there, it's going to be so helpful right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.